When you've been around as long as I have, man, you have some crazy stories. Stories about annoying little monsters. Stories about monsters that think they're people. Stories about people that fight monsters. And stories about people who fight people. But the strangest story of all is about a youth whose baby mama was a mummy and whose granddaddy was Dracula himself. A kid who was half mummy, half vampire, half weirdo. This is his story, man. The story of that fateful Halloween night. This is the story of Underfist. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy is certainly a Cartoon Network classic, and how could it not be with its amazing premise, colorful cast of characters, and its very memeable moments.
Dear Diary, no one feels pain as deeply as I do. No one suffers like I do. I am different. I am alone.
Statement. With 6 seasons, 7 11-minute episodes, and 3 TV movies, this show was on all the time when I was a kid. But I and a bunch of other people were very saddened when the show came to an end. But many would rejoice when it was announced that a spin-off called Underfist was going to air. The special was going to be a setup for a new series, but Maxwell Adams, the creator of the show, his contract was up with Cartoon Network, and the series would not be greenlit, so the special ended up being the series finale. And what a fitting ending it was. A show where it is perpetually Halloween, ending with a Halloween special that has to be poetic. But was it really? Join me and strap in for our last episode of AniWeen as we jump into the world of Billy and Mandy, and let's see how a group of pretty brave or pretty stupid heroes saves the world during this Halloween night.
Coming up next, it's the Billy and Mandy Underfist special on Cartoon Network.
Start this special off with our main trio, plus Irwin. You have Billy dressed up as a witch, Mandy dressed up as someone from the Spanish Inquisition. To be honest, it's kind of a scary costume when you really think deeply about it. And Irwin, who is dressed up like his grandpa, Dracula. The real Dracula chastised Irwin for saying that he's dressed up like him because he's not a loser, and Irwin is.
Different ways you ain't Dracula. Dracula ain't no nerd. He ain't no dummy. Dracula ain't wanted.
Irwin, did I forget to mention that in the Spanish Inquisition, we also burn vampires?
During the Spanish Inquisition, they also burned black people. At this point in the special, our main characters from the main show leave, leaving Irwin as our protagonist for the rest of the special. He knocks on the door of Delgado, a caricature of 1980s and 90s action heroes. He realizes that it was a big mistake because Delgado is a severely disturbed man.
Are you a ghost? Are you a werewolf? Are you a witch? Spit it out, marble mouth!
Mindy, one of Mandy's enemies, asks Irwin for help trick-or-treating at a very creepy house that's giving out full-size chocolate bars. He's up to the challenge since he's never been needed before, but he's freaked out of his mind. He rings the doorbell and it opens a portal to the underworld, and the candy monsters of the underworld start invading. This marshmallow bunny man, Bun Bun, was sick of people hunting candy for Halloween, so he switches the script, and instead of people hunting for candy, it's candy hunting for people. Delgado fights the initial wave of candy monsters, but he's eventually overwhelmed. That's when Mr. Scar steps in because they stepped on his roses. After Delgado gets back up, they realize they don't stand a chance and they fall back. They send their reinforcements, which are Reese's peanut butter cups, I guess, and kidnap Mindy, dragging her down to the underworld. Irwin asks Delgado, Mr. Scar, Fred Burger, and Jeff the Spider to help him save Mindy, and just like that, our team is formed. Irwin passes out and has a bad dream, and in the time he had a dream to the time he woke up, portals to the underworld have formed all over the earth, and there was a new president-elect all in like a couple hours. But the new president has also been kidnapped and has been taken to the underworld. So the gang plans on going to the underworld to save Mindy and the president. But apparently, Delgado does not want to go to the underworld with monsters and one-eyed weirdos.
Wait a minute. I'm not a monster.
I know, but I don't trust one-eyed weirdos either.
So he takes Irwin, not knowing that he is half monster. They go through the portal and they see that Mindy is a witch, and shortly after, they get captured. Apparently, Mindy turned into a witch because Irwin had mummy cooties from a pencil that she borrowed. She also gives him a candied apple that when it rots, his soul will also rot, turning him into a full-fledged monster. Back with Jeff, Mr. Scar, and Fred, they're trying to figure out how they're going to get into the underworld since the portal was closed. Fred shows them what he was writing in the barracks, and he wrote Underfist everywhere. Now that I'm older, I'm wondering, was Fred supposed to be neurodivergent? If he is, I don't think this is the best representation of someone who is neurodivergent. But it was the early 2000s. That doesn't excuse it, but people were less sensitive back then. Of course, neurodivergent people are definitely represented better now, right?
I am a surgeon! I am a surgeon! I am a surgeon! I am a surgeon! Dr. Hahn, I am a surgeon!
Jeff gets the brilliant idea of tunneling down to get to the underworld. So apparently this whole time, the underworld literally is underneath the world. It's not just a separate pocket dimension. Back in the underworld with Irwin and Hoss Delgado, Hoss is about to get boiled in a pot of hot cocoa. We also get this banger of a song, which I can't play because I will get a copyright strike, but you can search it up. Search up Trick or Treater Eaters on YouTube. I think it's a pretty good listen. After listening to this song, the monsters get a power boost and Hoss starts to fall into the hot cocoa. But that's when Irwin ends up transforming into a half mummy, half vampire creature, saving Hoss. That's also when the remaining Underfist members come in together so they could fight the candy monster. Irwin goes to save the president, and it turns out the president was Mandy? Quick question. Do you think Mandy ran as a Republican or Democrat? The gang ends up escaping back to the surface. Back at the president's office, Mandy gives us an explanation on why kids trick or treat. Apparently, kids trick or treat to ward off evil spirits, and she orders Underfist to go trick-or-treating to save the world. Grim is tasked with hooking up Underfist with costumes, and Billy gives Hoss Delgado the Candy Blaster, the ultimate one-hit weapon. They go out to trick-or-treat, but they shortly abandon the plan because most of the members think that they're too old to be trick-or-treating, or they just really hate their other group members. Back at the base, the gang finds out that there are gems in those candied apples that Mindy is trying to give out. So they come up with a plan to stop her. As the invasion begins, Irwin goes to help Hoss Delgado, despite him not wanting to help him because he's a monster. Jeff and Fred get backed into a corner, but by playing games, they fight off the Candy Monster army, while breaking into a song and dance number about how they don't want to grow up. But a giant monster with a pumpkin head is created to fight them. The other members join them in the fight, and Hoss Delgado fires the Candy Blaster. And apparently, it was Billy who was the projectile, and Billy ends up eating the monster. We then get Hoss Delgado's backstory explaining why he hates monsters so much, and he explains that for the past 30 years, he's always had a fear of a monster coming out of his closet, and ever since then, he has had a deep hatred for every monster he's ever seen. But he realizes that there are good monsters after Irwin saved him. This also causes Mindy to realize that just because she's ugly, she doesn't have to take it out on everyone else. Mindy reveals that it was Bun Bun's plan to take over the world the entire time. She goes in by saying that it was his plan for her to ask Irwin for help and ring the doorbell, causing the portal to the underworld to open and her to fake her kidnapping. Bun Bun shows up with Mr. Scar. Oh, I forgot to mention, Scar apparently ended up betraying the group because he found them so annoying. Bun Bun reveals that it was him who turned Mindy into a witch, not Irwin, and it was him who was the monster that haunted Hoss Delgado's childhood. But not only that, it was him who made Billy scared of spiders, causing Jeff to hate him. And it was also him who sawed off Fred Fredburger's tusk. Damn! This man is like the reverse Flash or something.
It was me, Barry. I made them draw Lola Bunny with fewer sexual features so that you wouldn't be horny, and reduce your blood flow to make you a millisecond slower. Slow enough for me to kill Iris. Remember when you were making out with your first girlfriend, and you came right as she touched your leg? It was me, Barry. I jerked you off at super speed so it'd seem like you nutted at just a woman's touch!
Scar ends up double-crossing Bun Bun by pushing him into the vat of hot chocolate.
Hey! I'm melting, you dirty traitor! Marshmallows and cocoa don't mix! What a world! What did I ever do to any of you guys?
The special ends with everyone getting a medal from the president, but they are interrupted by someone who escaped the underworld through the tunnel that Jeff left. He says he plans on destroying the sun, and he says that someone has to be pretty brave or pretty stupid to stop him, but our gang of heroes is both, and that's how the special ends. I genuinely feel that Underfist has to be one of the best and most underrated Halloween specials that has ever aired on Cartoon Network. It's full of references to other Cartoon Network shows, and it's just a love letter to Billy and Mandy the series in general. I think using the side characters to create a special is just genius, and it panned out nicely, resulting in an action-packed hour of laughs and grim adventure. The grim adventures of Billy and Mandy not only entertained us with its hilarity and its dark comedic storytelling, but it also offered valuable life lessons hidden beneath the surface. It was a show that transcended generational boundaries, bringing laughter and valuable insights to both kids and adults alike. With its unforgettable characters and iconic moments, no wonder this series remains a cherished part of Cartoon Network history, continuing to capture the hearts of fans and newcomers, making it a true animated gem that will be remembered for years to come. And I'm happy that the series went off with such an amazing Halloween special. We have reached the end of the video. I'd like to thank every single person that has subscribed and has watched all of these videos throughout the month. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. And this experience really made me a more consistent content creator. And I hope I can continue it in the future. Again, thank you so much for watching all of my videos. I truly appreciate it, and I love to bring you guys along the way. Again, thank you so much. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, share, and ring that bell. And also, most importantly, happy Halloween, everybody.